What if you worked your entire life for a reward, only to find you're letting it slip through your fingers without even realizing it? How do we stop drifting and start truly living the years we've earned? Let's talk about the 5 ways we might be wasting retirement in this talk from at Life Talk with Experience. 1. Living on autopilot. When I first retired, I thought the goal was to have no schedule. For the first time in decades, I had no alarms, no meetings, and no responsibilities. I woke up when I wanted, read the paper, and sat on the porch. It was peaceful. But then something strange happened. One morning, I looked at the calendar and realized I couldn't remember what I had done all week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they all blurred together. I hadn't seen anyone. I hadn't gone anywhere. I wasn't resting. I was coasting. I had fallen into what I now call retirement autopilot. Every day looked like the one before. And over time, that started to eat away at my spirit. Retirement is supposed to be the reward, but no one ever said the reward should be nothing. No goals, no passions, no direction. I realized that if I didn't start being intentional with how I spent my time, then time would just disappear. And time is more precious now than ever before. Living on autopilot is not living, it's surviving. And retirement of all times is not meant to be survived. It is meant to be lived. 2. Not taking care of my health. I always thought I was a pretty healthy person, but after I retired, something changed. I started sleeping in later, moving less, and telling myself, I deserve to relax. I've earned it. But the truth is, I was using retirement as an excuse to ignore what my body was quietly trying to tell me. My energy was lower. My back ached more. I would get winded walking up the stairs. I told myself it was just age, but part of me knew it was also lifestyle. One afternoon, I bent down to tie my shoes and realized I had to hold on to the table just to get back up. That moment scared me. It was a reminder that if I didn't start taking care of this body now, I might not be able to enjoy all the years I had worked so hard to reach. So I started small. A 15-minute walk, more vegetables, more water. Slowly, things began to change. I felt stronger. I realized that health is freedom. The freedom to travel, to play with your grandkids, to get out of bed without pain, to fully show up in your own life. Taking care of your health is not about vanity. It is about dignity. It is about honoring the one vessel you have been given to live this life. And it is never, ever too late to start. Now stick with me, because while health is crucial, the next point, losing connection, is what makes us feel invisible. And the 4th point we'll discuss, letting regret take over, is perhaps the one that steals the most joy. 3. Losing social connections. When I retired, I thought the hardest part would be missing the paycheck. What I didn't expect was how much I would miss the people. At work, there was always someone to talk to, a reason to get dressed, a conversation waiting at the coffee pot. I didn't realize how much those little interactions filled my day until they were gone. After a few months, I noticed something I had never felt before. The silence started to feel heavy. I went days without hearing my phone ring. I convinced myself I was just enjoying solitude, but deep down I knew it was more than that. I was lonely, not the kind of loneliness that comes from being physically alone, but the kind that comes from feeling forgotten, like I had become invisible. That was the wake-up call I needed. I started making an effort. I called old friends. I joined a group at the community center. We are not meant to go through life alone, especially not in this chapter. Social connection is not just a nice to have. It is essential. It keeps your mind sharp, it lifts your mood, and it gives you a sense of belonging. If you have been feeling isolated, it takes one phone call, one step toward the people around you. Your people are still out there. You just have to be willing to find them again. 4. Letting regret take over. There was a time when I found myself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything I didn't do, the trips I never took, the dreams I let go of, the apologies I never said out loud. It was like a reel of missed chances playing on repeat. Regret is heavy. It sits in your chest, and the longer you carry it, the more it convinces you that you are out of time, that the best of your life is behind you. I lived like that for a while, weighed down by 1,000 what-ifs. Then one morning, an old friend looked at me and said, "You know, the past is a place to visit, not a place to live." That hit me like a brick. I realized I had spent so much time looking over my shoulder that I forgot to look at what was right in front of me. I still had mornings. I still had breath in my lungs. I still had people who loved me. You cannot rewrite your past, but you can absolutely write a different ending. Letting go of regret isn't about pretending the past was perfect. It's about choosing not to let it define your future. So if you are sitting in your quiet moments thinking about what could have been, I want you to hear this. You still have time. You still get to choose what the rest of your life looks like. 5. Not planning the rest of the journey. After I retired, I treated life like a long weekend that never ended. At first, it felt like freedom, but eventually that freedom started to feel like floating. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. And somewhere along the way, I realized I had stopped thinking about the future. I had spent my entire working life planning, but once retirement came, I stopped. I figured I had earned the right to just see how things go. But here is what I learned. When you stop making plans, life stops moving forward. You're not just coasting, you are drifting. One night, my wife turned to me and asked, "What do you still want?" I blinked. I hadn't thought about that question in years. The next morning, we sat down with a notebook. We started writing down all the things we still wanted to experience, see, and feel. Some were small, like learning a new recipe. Some were big, like seeing the Grand Canyon. That list became our map. Retirement is not the end of the road. It is the start of a new chapter, one that deserves to be lived with intention. Do not fall into the trap of thinking there is nothing left to reach for. As long as you are breathing, you are still becoming. So ask yourself, what do I still want? Who do I want to become in this next chapter? The rest of your journey still matters, and you are the only one who can choose where it goes from here. If you found yourself in any of the stories I shared today, I want you to hear something loud and clear. It is not too late. It is never too late to wake up, to shift course, to reclaim the time you still have. You are not finished, you are not forgotten, and you are certainly not here just to pass time. Retirement is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a brand new chapter. And how that chapter reads, that is entirely up to you. If you are looking for more gentle, honest conversations like this one, please like, share, and subscribe to Life Talk with Experience. Your story matters too. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourself.